How to live with chronic fatigue. Also known as post-viral syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, and myalgic encephalomyelitis, ME. Although these conditions are all different to some extent, many of the symptoms and their effects on lifestyle have a lot in common. Chronic fatigue is also a symptom in fibromyalgia and many other disorders, including some skeletal problems that make movement more difficult. Pace yourself. It can be easy to do too much at a time, especially if you're used to being able to do more. Take regular rests until you feel fully ready to go on. If you're feeling the fatigue warning signs, stop. Don't wait for them to get worse. Be ready to stop when you need to and don't drive yourself into the ground over anything, even activities of daily living. Pushing when it's too much can cause you to lose a lot more time recovering from the overexertion than you would have spent just resting when you need to. Do not judge your activity levels in relation to other people's. Ever. Only measure success against your own past efforts. Be prepared to accept a completely random level of physical ability. You may feel almost like normal sometimes. Seize those moments to do things that are important to you or that you missed most. Visit your doctor regularly. He or she will be able to treat you more confidently if your medical records are up to date. You'll also build trust and understanding. It's also important to find the right doctor, one who understands the physical nature and severity of the illness. Do not try the same treatment, if it failed. Many primary physicians have a regular series of advice, treatments and regimens mostly geared towards sedentary, normal people improving their health. These can be too difficult and humiliating, so don't torture yourself trying what didn't work again and again. Taking long walks does not help chronic fatigue, but may mean that you can't keep up with the dishes or brush your teeth for a couple of days resting up. Keep personal written records of all treatments, regimens and medications that had adverse effects. It's a long slog to find the right medications for any chronic illness and you don't need to repeat failed trials. Eat the right foods. Keep a food diary. Compare what you've eaten with how you feel immediately afterward and how you feel later in the day. Fibromyalgia and some other chronic fatigue conditions often cause food sensitivities and allergies. Until you know which foods to avoid and which ones give you energy, chart the results of everything you take in. Some healthy foods like milk, whole grains with gluten and so on may give you unexpected problems and have to come off your list even if they'd be good for anyone else. Don't feel bad about it, this is just part of living with the disease. You're not a fussy eater when you have real allergies and sensitivities. Avoid foods that give short bursts of energy, such as sugar and caffeine. It's easy to instinctively go for foods that are easy and give a short-term buzz, coffee and sweet rolls, tea and biscuits, sweet chocolate, and so on. Unfortunately, the times that you're feeling the most tired are the times you should avoid these, as the burst of energy will be followed by an energy crash that will make you feel a lot worse in the long run. Enjoy foods that offer slow energy release, such as starchy foods, proteins including beans and peas. The effects are longer lasting, and you'll be healthier in the long term. Eat raw fruits and vegetables, because uncooked foods are quicker, easier to prepare and contain more nutrients. There are many foods that have properties that are especially good for you, including sprouted seeds and pulses, very dark chocolate, iron-rich foods, anything with high levels of vitamin B12. Limit stress. Being chronically ill is stressful enough in itself, and many doctors believe that stress could be a contributor to CFS symptoms. So, when at all possible, make things easy on yourself by keeping your schedule flexible and your goals attainable. Do as much as you can without stress. Doing a little is better than doing nothing. In bad times it can boost your morale and keep you from getting lethargic, and in good times it can help you to build up your endurance. In your personal journal, look for activities you can do sitting down or do when you're not at your best. Accomplishing something that's in reach, like mindlessly sorting through old papers, is still a real accomplishment that will leave you more free time when you have a good day to actually get out into the garden or go out with friends. When you're so loopy tired you can't do anything productive, relax with a good book or a computer game. The same time sinks that sedentary people waste their lives and can keep your mind off the fatigue and put you in a better mood. Reading is especially good at bedtime or when you need a nap. A few pages may get your mind off all your stresses and let you sleep. Don't be ashamed to rest. The fact is that you're not able to manage as much as others. Accept it and don't push yourself too hard. Others had better accept you as you are, because you are dealing with a physical limitation as real as a missing limb. They need to know that, so don't hide it and pretend everything's fine. Don't make firm commitments or deadlines without explaining to the others involved that it's as health permits. Most people are understanding once they know the truth, or they aren't worth your time. This is a big favor to them because otherwise when you have a bad day, they could be left in the lurch if they don't have an alternate plan. You will have those bad days, no one can predict the weather or what your body will do next. Identify triggers. Work with your physician or healer to try to identify some things that bring about the more intense symptoms. For instance, many people with CFS have dietary, environmental or chemical sensitivities. The more of these you understand, the better you can live. Some are avoidable, like food sensitivities. Others aren't, but at least you can look at the weather predictions and know whether to even try to make it to an event. Find other sufferers. More and more doctors are recognizing the reality of this illness, which means more people are actively dealing with their condition. There are organizations dedicated to supporting those with your condition, and they can help you to feel that you're not alone.